Hello, I'm Bernie Norcott-Mahany. I work at the Kansas City Public Library and also at Johnson County Community College. And during the month of April, I am reading selected poems that I like. It's a feature of National Poetry Month, April, to do things like hand out favorite poems to people, to do poetry displays, that sort of thing, especially in the library. But when I was a kid, I never could quite figure out what it was that made poetry poetry. And I think part of that's because we were taught to read quietly like everything else in school, and as a result, it didn't sing to me. But hearing the poems read aloud, I think you get some of the sense of their power. So at any rate, I will be reading various poems through the course of the month aloud, so that you get to hear that. Now, today's poem is a poem by George Gordon, Lord Byron. He's one of the English Romantic poets, along with Shelley and Keats, and possibly Wordsworth and Coleridge, if you want to include those two as well. Byron, unlike Keats, whom we've already seen, was a rather flamboyant character who not only believed in the spirit of romanticism, but actually tried to enact it in his life. So he tried to be the romantic hero in life. So he was sort of always on, in a way that Keats, who was much quieter, was not. He was actually he was an actual heroic figure. He fought in the Greek War of Independence against Turkey. There was a statue in honor of Byron actually in Greece, honoring him. So he still has a good reputation there. He died in Greece. He went swimming. He wanted to show how tough he was, and so he decided he would try to swim in some particular dangerous waters, and that didn't turn out so well. He died at the age of 36, so he was a young man, not quite as young as Keats, but Keats, of course, was sickly most of his life, whereas Byron was a rather healthy, strapping young man, and would presumably have lived to be, at least middle-aged, if not older, but for that accident. He had a reputation for being a ladies' man, and one of the women that he tried to get into his bed was a married woman, Lady Caroline Lamb, who coined the phrase in talking about him to someone else that Byron was bad, mad, and dangerous to know. And so he certainly, I think, tried to live up to that reputation. Now, this particular poem, She Walks in Beauty, is really sort of an homage to innocence. So it may be that was a turn on for Byron, that he was sort of turned on by female innocence. But I think the poem stands very well on its own, aside from Byron's sometimes unsavory reputation. So this is the poem She Walks in Beauty by George Gordon, Lord Byron. She walks in beauty, like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes. Thus mellow to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies, one shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven tress, or softly lightens o'er her face. Where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek and o'er that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. She Walks in Beauty by George Gordon, Lord Byron.